You've heard it a million times.
Follow your passion.
It sounds beautiful, like a motivational poster designed by someone who lives in their parents' basement and makes $0 from their artisanal matcha mushroom incense Etsy shop. But here's the cold truth. Following your passion might be the worst advice you'll ever get. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Most people have no idea what their passion is. Even if you do, chances are it's not profitable. And if it is, turning it into your job might kill the very thing you love about it. Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. Anonymous. Yeah, because you'll be broke. You know what I was passionate about as a kid? Dinosaurs. Guess who didn't become a paleontologist? Me. Because I also like to, not starve. This video is not about crushing your dreams. It's about saving you from the lie that's keeping millions of people stuck, broke, and miserable, while convincing them they're just not passionate enough. So if you're tired of feeling like a failure because your passion didn't turn into a six-figure business overnight, stick around. Because it turns out that follow your passion might be the most terrible advice ever given. And we're about to prove it, with receipts. So where did this whole follow your passion thing even come from? It definitely wasn't your mom's idea. She probably told you to be a dentist, or an accountant, or anything with health benefits and a retirement plan. But let's rewind a bit. The idea that work should be deeply meaningful and tied to our innermost desires, that's actually pretty new. In the past, and by past, I mean most of human history, work was about not dying. You hunted, you farmed, you bartered. You weren't asking, does this job spark joy? You were asking, will this job spark a fire to keep my cave warm tonight? Fast forward to ancient Greece, and we start to see a shift. The philosopher Socrates introduced the idea of the daimon, a kind of guiding spirit or inner calling. It wasn't exactly follow your bliss, more like don't ignore your conscience or the gods might smite you. Then came the Romans with their word vocare, Latin for to call. That's where we get vocation. So yeah, the word career has religious roots, which explains why quitting your job sometimes feels like heresy. Jump ahead to the 20th century, and Joseph Campbell, a mythologist, tells people to follow your bliss, and boom, a generation of people start thinking their job should feel like a Disney movie, preferably with musical numbers. And of course, the modern godfather of bad passion advice, Steve Jobs. At his 2005 Stanford commencement speech, he said, "You've got to find what you love. The only way to do great work is to love what you do." Inspirational? Yes. Helpful? Not really. Because here's what they don't tell you. Steve Jobs didn't start with passion. He started with curiosity, selling illegal phone phreaking devices, then pivoted into tech, then got fired from his own company, then came back years later and built the iPhone. He followed opportunity, not passion. Even Steve Wozniak, Jobs' co-founder, has since said, most people should not follow their passion. They should find something they're good at and learn to love it. Whew. Now, let's bring in science. Psychologist Dr. Paul O'Keefe and his team at Stanford studied people who believed in fixed passions, the idea that you're born with a destiny, like a Hogwarts house or Marvel superpower. Turns out people who believe this are more likely to give up when things get hard. Why? Because they think passion should feel effortless. So the minute it gets boring or frustrating or, heaven forbid, hard, they bail. Kind of like the guy who quits guitar lessons after 2 weeks because he doesn't feel inspired. No, Chad, you're just bad at it. That's what practice is for. And that brings us to Cal Newport, author of So Good They Can't Ignore You, a book that absolutely destroys the passion myth with one brutal insight. Passion comes after you put in the hard work to become excellent at something valuable, not before. In other words, you don't find passion, you build it. Ask any chef, coder, or content creator. They didn't start out in love with their craft, they got better at it. People started paying them, and that's when the passion kicked in. Funny how a paycheck tends to make things more exciting. All right, so let's talk about something a little awkward. Money. Because here's the inconvenient truth nobody puts on a motivational poster. Follow your passion sounds poetic, until your landlord also follows his passion for charging rent. Let's start with a stat. According to a 2021 survey by Indeed, only about 13% of workers say they're truly passionate about what they do. But here's the kicker. 61% still report being happy with their jobs. Wait, what? People can be happy in their jobs, even if it's not their childhood dream of becoming a zookeeper, dancer, podcaster? Yep, because satisfaction doesn't come from chasing butterflies. It comes from stability, autonomy, competence, and contribution. Now, imagine this scenario. A girl loves drawing anime in high school. She's told, follow your passion. So she studies art, racks up $80,000 in student loans, posts her drawings on Instagram, and gets 12 likes. Meanwhile, her cousin, who hated math, learned data analytics, now makes 6 figures working remote from Bali, and funds his actual passion, playing drums in a terrible reggae band on weekends. Who's living the better life? Spoiler, it's the guy who didn't follow his passion, but used his skills to buy time and freedom for it. Because here's what they don't teach you in school. The market doesn't care about your passion. It cares about your ability to solve valuable problems. Want proof? In 2022, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics released wage data showing that the highest paid professions, like anesthesiologists, data scientists, and software architects, are not jobs people typically dream of as kids. No one says, when I grow up, I want to optimize back-end server latency. But you know what they do say later? I want to afford a house, not live with 5 roommates named Kyle also pursuing their dreams on SoundCloud. Let's break this down. Professional dancer, average salary, $36,000. Market demand, low. Software engineer, $120,000. Market demand, high. Poet, $20,000, if lucky. Market demand, microscopic. Plumber, $60,000 to $100,000 plus. Market demand, very high. Irony alert, the world needs plumbers more than poets. And guess who makes more? Now, this isn't to bash passion. You should do things you enjoy. But there's a massive difference between doing what you love and trying to monetize what you love with no market demand. In his book, The Passion Economy, Adam Davidson explains that passion can be a competitive advantage if it aligns with market needs. But when it doesn't, you're not building a business, you're funding a hobby. Take the case of YouTubers. Thousands start channels about what they love, cooking, knitting, reviewing anime socks. But the ones who succeed? They mix their interest with a niche, an audience problem, and consistent execution. They treat it like a business, not a diary. So here's the deal. You can still follow your passion. Just don't expect it to pay for dinner unless you build real skills and offer real value. Or, as entrepreneur Naval Ravikant puts it, play long-term games with long-term people. Learn to sell. Learn to build. If you can do both, you will be unstoppable. That's the game. Not passion, leverage. Okay, here's where things get real. Because even if you do manage to follow your passion, you might still fall into the passion trap. What's that? It's when the thing you used to love, the thing that gave you butterflies, becomes work. And suddenly those butterflies turn into burnout, stress, and a Google search history that reads, how to quit quietly, remote jobs that pay in naps, and can you fake your own death and start over as a barista in Iceland? Let's break this down with a simple truth bomb. When you turn your passion into your job, it often stops being your passion. Case in point, you love baking cookies. People say, you should open a bakery. So you do. Fast forward 6 months, you're up at 4 a.m., fighting with your supplier about flour prices, managing 1099s, and wondering how to fire your cousin Tiffany without starting a family feud. You haven't enjoyed baking in months. You just want a nap. Congratulations, you turned your joy into a job. You see, there's this weird myth that if you love something enough, the work will never feel like work. But according to a study from Yale's Center for Emotional Intelligence, even people in dream jobs experience stress, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Passion doesn't protect you from reality. In fact, it might blind you to it. Psychologist Barry Schwartz, author of Why We Work, says, the idea that we have one true calling sets people up for failure and disappointment. And that's the passion trap. You pick a single thing, you over-romanticize it, and the second it gets hard, you start doubting yourself. Maybe I picked the wrong passion. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I was meant to be a yoga instructor instead. But here's the twist. Most people don't even have a clear passion to begin with. A 2018 study published in Psychological Science found that only 20% of people identify as having a singular passion. The rest? They have interests, hobbies, curiosities, things they like, not things they want to monetize or make into their identity. And yet, the follow your passion culture pressures them to pick one, brand it, monetize it, and post about it every Tuesday with a Canva quote overlay. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Correction, do what you love and you'll work every single day trying to make people care. Another trap? Passion makes people undervalue their labor, especially creatives. It's okay they're not paying me, I just love doing it. Cool. Try telling your landlord that. Let me know how that goes. This toxic idea that doing what you love means sacrificing fair pay is especially common in industries like photography, writing, music, and design. Because if you really loved it, you'd do it for free, right? Wrong. Even Michelangelo got paid. He also hated painting the Sistine Chapel, but did it anyway because it paid well and made him immortal. So instead of trapping yourself in the idea that your work must be your life's passion, try this instead. Let your job fund your life. Let your life include your passions. You can love photography without becoming a wedding photographer. You can enjoy gaming without becoming a Twitch streamer. You can like wine without opening a vineyard in Tuscany and going broke. Just because you're good at something or love doing it doesn't mean it should be your career. In fact, maybe the best way to protect your passion is to keep it sacred. Let's get philosophical for a second, because the real issue isn't that passion is bad, it's that we've confused it with something else entirely: purpose. Passion is what excites you. Purpose is what sustains you. Passion is Netflix. Purpose is showing up on Monday even when your Wi-Fi is down, your cat threw up on your keyboard, and your boss wants just one more revision. Let's break this down. Passion is a feeling. It's emotional. It's temporary. It's that sugar rush you get when you imagine quitting your job to become a full-time kombucha sommelier. Purpose, on the other hand, that's rooted in meaning. It's what gives your struggle a why. It's deeper than dopamine. Psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl put it perfectly in Man's Search for Meaning. Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. He survived Auschwitz, so yeah, his quote probably hits harder than your high school career counselors. Let's apply this to work. You may not love your job, but if you know that job allows you to provide for your family, save for your freedom, build skills that help others, make a real-world impact, then suddenly it doesn't feel like just a paycheck, it feels like progress. Now, you might be wondering, okay, cool, but can't passion and purpose overlap? Absolutely, but they don't always. And the problem comes when we assume they have to. Let's look at a real-world example. Nurse. Probably not their passion growing up, but helping people recover, supporting families, saving lives, that's purpose. Plumber. Probably not dreaming about pipe layouts at age 6, but making sure people have clean water, avoiding emergencies, supporting a family, that's purpose. Meanwhile, the guy who followed his passion for writing fantasy novels is now writing clickbait listicles for $30 a pop, wondering what happened. This isn't about shaming dreamers. Dream big, dream weird, but don't confuse feeling excited with feeling fulfilled. According to a 2019 Gallup report, only 13% of people globally feel engaged at work. But those who feel their work has meaning are 3 times more likely to feel satisfied, even if the job isn't glamorous. Why? Because meaning fuels resilience. It helps you push through the boring, messy, why am I even doing this days. I used to think my passion was filmmaking, but what I really loved was storytelling and having control over my time. It wasn't until I started scripting videos like this one that I realized it wasn't cameras I loved. It was communicating ideas that matter. That's purpose. See the difference? Passion fades when it's tested. Purpose deepens when it's tested. So ask yourself, what are you willing to struggle for? What are you willing to get better at, even when it's boring? What could still feel worth doing even if no one claps for you? That's purpose. Passion gets applause. Purpose builds legacies. All right, we've shredded the whole follow your passion myth, but hey, I'm not here just to be a career party pooper. I'm here to help you build a better playbook. Because here's the truth, your career doesn't have to be a painful mystery wrapped in an Instagram quote. There's a smart, realistic way to build a life and work you love without waiting for passion to drop from the sky like a care package. So, what's the plan? Here's a 5-step blueprint you can start using right now. 1. Follow your curiosity, not your passion. Curiosity is the gateway drug of skills. It's less about what lights your soul on fire and more about what piques your interest enough to learn and explore. Not sure where to start? Ask yourself, what questions do I find myself Googling? What topics do I enjoy reading about, even casually? What could I see myself diving into for hours without getting bored? For example, you might love video games, but maybe your curiosity lies in how games are made, not playing them all day. That curiosity could lead you into coding, game design, or even marketing. 2. Build rare and valuable skills. The market pays for skills that solve problems people actually have, not feelings or vague notions. A great way to think about this is, what can I do that most people can't? What do companies or clients pay good money for? Examples: coding, data analysis, digital marketing, writing that sells, project management, public speaking. Remember, mastery is a marathon, not a sprint, and the first step is choosing skills that matter and then grinding until you're at least good enough. 3. Stack skills to create your unique edge. You don't need to be the absolute best at one thing. You just need a combination of skills that makes you rare and valuable. Think of it like a sandwich. Bread plus cheese plus ham equals classic ham and cheese, but coding plus storytelling plus UX design equals unicorn level. For example, say you're decent at graphic design and also know some social media strategy. Put those together and you can offer small businesses a package that most freelancers don't. The magic is in the intersection. 4. Look for market demand. This one's brutally honest but crucial. You might want to be a vintage typewriter repairer. Cool niche, by the way, but is there enough demand to pay your rent? Before committing, do some detective work. Are companies hiring for this? Are people buying these services or products? Are the numbers growing or shrinking? You can check job boards, Google Trends, industry reports, or even better, talk to people already in the field. Number 5, align your career with your lifestyle goals. Here's the secret sauce many miss. Your career should serve your life, not the other way around. Want to travel the world? Look for remote-friendly skills or freelance gigs. Want weekends free for hobbies or family? Seek jobs with predictable hours. Use your lifestyle priorities to filter opportunities. Because what's the point of a dream job if you're too stressed or broke to enjoy life? Bonus tip, be patient and flexible. Building a career that works isn't about finding the one true passion. It's about growing, adapting, and making smart choices over time. So, what have we learned today? Follow your passion sounds like a beautiful mantra, something you want to believe in, but the truth is it's incomplete advice. Like telling someone to just breathe when they're drowning. Passion feels good. It's exciting. It can even be inspiring. But if you rely on passion alone, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, burnout, and a very empty bank account. Instead, build your career like a bridge, strong, steady, and designed for real traffic. If this video helped you rethink the career game, smash that like button and comment below. What's the first step you're going to take after watching this? Thanks for watching. Now go out there and build something real.